Excellence attracts wealth.
Christians should do things at a higher standard.
There's so many people out there that have that same capability and calling on their life, but they are literally blinded from it.
One of the greatest adversaries of entrepreneurship is conformity.
Favor isn't for you, it's for others. We should be the greatest servants and always the door holder.
He's wanted to quit 1,000 times. We had no clue what was going to sustain our family.
Without that vision, if we didn't have a plan, and not a business plan, a God plan, if we didn't have that, this would not even be feasible.
Welcome back to another episode, guys, of the Christian Entrepreneur Podcast. And I'm joined today by an incredible married entrepreneurial couple, powerhouses, power couple vibes. That's what I get from you guys. And, we got to meet these guys through our church, Adam and Cassie, I hope I said it right,
Yeah,
Greg.
very good.
And they own the collective at Red Iron Republic. And they're actually the company that we're partnering with in the Christian Entrepreneur for all of our merch. We're about to release an entire store. And it's just such an honor. We reach out to you guys and we're like, man, we would love to have you guys on the podcast. I think it's uncommon, like I was just telling you guys before we recorded, to see a married couple who builds a business together.
Yeah.
It's even more uncommon to meet a Christian married couple building a business on mission with God. Mm-hmm. So welcome to the show, guys.
Appreciate it. We're honored to be here.
And how the story actually goes is a couple weeks ago, we met up to look at blanks for our apparel. And in the parking lot, y'all start telling me your story of how you started your business and everything. And I was just like, wait, what the heck? We need to get this recorded.
It's wild.
It is wild. And so I'm excited for us to dive into it because y'all's backstory is pretty amazing and something only God could do. So I'm excited for this
So
conversation.
good. But I think what would be really cool is to just hear the story of your business, how it came to be directly from you guys. And so I'd love to hear from you. What is your business? What do you guys do? And what is the journey God took you on to start this company?
Go for it.
So the collective where we are right now is an online marketplace that we've stood up that hosts all kinds of brands, Little League teams, softball teams, military commands, businesses. We're getting into the corporate world for employee wear and PPE, and then single brands like you guys and a couple others that we're about to launch for everyone to be able to have their own online store, to be able to have their product there available for purchase, not have to buy anything anymore to have sitting on their shelves or in a closet that they've spent money on. And then on the back end, we fulfill everything and send it directly to the customer's house. So as a business owner, if my employees need apparel, I'm no longer collecting sizes and having to put those orders in and then get those apparel items out to my actual employees. The employees just go in, they order their stuff, it gets to them in a couple of days, and now my employees are branded for my business. And that goes with everything else we do, with whether it's a Little League, whether it's a Navy command. We are literally saving people thousands of dollars by not having things sitting in a closet that was the wrong size that they didn't need because they had to order bulk or they ordered more than they needed. So we alleviate all of that with our business model. And then we try to use, I'm very particular about the clothes that I wear and how they fit and how they wash, especially how they wash. If I dry a shirt and it shrinks 2 inches, it's just a bad day for me. So everything that we have curated for our business that goes out to our customers is you have two different levels. We have top line of what is not expensive, and then we have top line premium that is up towards the Lulu Viore style fitting stuff. So we stray away from the G brand, the Gildan stuff. And we try to keep the premium stuff on the
Now,
websites.
if I didn't know your backstory and a little bit of your background, I would call you bougie for all of that. But because of your military background that I am aware of, that we will get into, now I just see it's just standard of excellence.
You know what I love about your business model? Because I've been in business for a long time. I've used a lot of merch companies and always just wanted, like me as a business owner, selling merch is not another business I'm trying to start. But I understand the importance of my brand being out in the world, especially with us. We have a huge community. People love our God is my CEO shirts, those things. I don't want to hold the inventory. Like I've probably got $1,000 in inventory in this house right now. You know, it just sits there.
Fun.
I don't know if anything will ever happen with it. I've lost so much money in things that I've bought. Also frustration of creating clothing with companies that didn't have excellence to where the final product was like, I don't even want to sell this.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I've bought, you know, merch before, got in the box, opened it excited, and been so bummed. And now I'm almost like, oh, Lord, please let it be good, right? You know, with companies I worked with in the past. And so I love that I don't have to buy inventory, that you guys can print on demand, you can host the store, you can do that, and the quality of product you have is excellent. And I love even more that you do it God's way, that you go to our church, and that we can do life with you guys and get to know you, which is just a bonus that we're in San Diego. So I love your model. I think so many people want to make Christian clothing brands and all these things, but you've tapped a vein of a really unique business model to where you don't need to go build this big brand to make money, which is really hard to do in merch, but actually be the one that enables the companies that do want to do that or already have the brand and the audience and the customer base or the employees to do that. And you just facilitate and broker that. I think it's a really good idea. How did you come up with it?
We do operate with a spirit of excellence to a level that I think 98% of the population doesn't get to, but I was raised that way from my parents, and then I went into the military. So it went to the next level of just being excellent in everything that you do. And then obviously, you know, being raised in the kingdom biblically, you do everything honestly and excellently, not perfectly, but with excellence, right? So, and that, you know, that really, I think, set in with me when I started playing guitar. Which I started playing guitar at 8, but getting into worship in my teens and into my younger adult years, most of the worship leaders I worked with, they're like, hey, we want you to come in ready to play excellently. Not perfectly. We know you're going to mess up, but you need to come in with a spirit of excellence so that the Holy Spirit can move. We're not there for perfection, but we're to do it at a level that's higher than anyone else. So that's where that has all come from. And that's why this, right off the bat, this company is already being portrayed as a very professional, excellent-looking company. So the military, I was a drone operator for Naval Special Warfare, which has nothing to do with shirts.
Nowhere near.
Apparel, nothing. So I did 12 years in the Navy, got medically retired, had an accident in Kuwait in 2017 that led to that. But the commands that I was with during my career, and a lot of people don't know this outside of the military, every command has its own logo. They have their own swag. Then you have, in the Navy, you have the Chief's Mess, which is the E7 and above. You have the First Class Association. They all have their own swag. So as I'm coming up through my career, I love to lead. So obviously I found myself in a couple president spots in those associations and having to deal with designing swag, getting the swag, selling it, using it to raise money. And then, you know, every time bringing everything out of the closet to try to go sell it to the command and then putting it back in the closet because you had to buy it in bulk. I think at that point we were buying it from Custom Ink when we were in Hawaii. So that led into us moving to San Diego. So our career took us Florida to California to Hawaii to Florida to San Diego.
Wow.
Okay.
Pretty good locations.
Yes.
Great locations.
Very blessed.
All God, and we can get into that later. But for where the storefront came from and the apparel side, when we got to San Diego, we became board members at Coronado Little League, and I started to see the same thing. Coronado Little League were pulling out shirts and hats to sell at opening day that had literally been sitting in a closet for 3 years that they had been trying to sell because they had money sank in it, and they were still trying to recoup their money from it. And at that time, my 9-year-old son is building a baseball necklace business, right? So this is in 2024, and I had no thoughts about apparel at all. I just saw that 4th of July, he walked down Orange Avenue in Coronado and came back an hour later and made $500 on selling baseball necklaces that he made.
Little entrepreneur, come on.
He's hired. Looking for a job.
At 9 years old. So So that is when I jumped into, I was like, let's set up a website for them. Just see what happens. And this is when I started learning about AI. So AI literally taught me how to build a website, how to design it, how to put it all together, how to make it flow, how to make all the domains, everything. So we stood that site up, and he started to get a little name for his Natto Drips company around San Diego. Wow. Then we end up at a Padres game down on the dugout field, in front of the dugout, and he handed a couple of them out to some of the players, and then Jackson Merrill, the center fielder, took one of them, and he actually wore it that night at the game.
Wow.
That's cool.
So that necklace during the 2024 season, I think he wore it probably 9 or 10 games, to include one of the postseason games. So with that, Tucker's little brand kind of blew up locally.
Wow.
And at that point, he's like, hey, I want to brand some shirts and hats and stuff. So then I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I know I've ordered it with other people's money, but I'm like, there's no way I'm going to order Natto Drip stuff from Custom Ink and then hope we go sell it.
So are you saying we should have brought Tucker on the show to interview him instead?
He's really the inception.
He really is. Like, Tucker, we're giving you props. Okay? Just so you know, shout out to Tucker.
So that's when I deep dove, because anything I do, I deep dive it.
Yeah.
100%. I want to know the best way to do it, the worst way to do it, the mediocre way to do it. So I deep dove every piece of apparel out there. Screen printing, DTF, DTG, whatever else there is out there, vinyl transfers, and then leather and everything for the hats, embroidery, and really just deep dove what would make his products the best. So that's where we started at. And then I started to see with the Little League board that there was a demand for, what do you want to say? Not having a closet full of money and apparel sitting that's not
There
being
has to be a
sold.
better way, because they're sinking a lot of capital into that.
Yes.
Hoping it
So
sells.
at this point, I now have a full platform with his business that is selling his shirts, his hats, his baseball necklaces. We're shipping all over the country. So at that point, when the thought kind of fell into my lap, I was like, well, we can stand it up. It's easy. It's another website. I've already learned how to do all this. So I stood it up, and from there, it just started growing, because what we were offering was not just one solution to one problem. It was, we were offering a whole bag of solutions to one person's bag of problems.
Yeah.
And I've come to learn that when you can solve people's problems or take away their pain, they're going to pay for it. Guaranteed.
Every time.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, business exists to solve a problem.
Yes.
If you can solve multiple and make it easy for someone, you've created value, which they'll happily pay for.
Correct. Correct. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And I think problem solving, has been like the main thing. Like, with the Little League teams we just did, normally the team mom would collect the money and the sizes and have to put in the order. But now it's so easy. The same thing with like the merged teams. It took a lot of, they want to focus on, a merge and the men and pouring into them spiritually and having to take out that element of frustration of apparel. But I also think really what it started from is we had this idea for a brand, a clothing brand, and really quickly learned it's very hard to launch a clothing
And make
brand.
money.
And
in
yet
it.
everyone
Yes.
seems like they want to.
Right.
Everyone wants to have a
Everyone
Christian
wants
clothing
a
brand.
clothing brand.
And
No,
they
they're-
did a month, and we were like,
4 weeks.
oh my gosh, this is
Yes.
it's hard.
Yes.
And so, but we, still pressing shirts, learning how to do the things correctly, learning so much about the brands we like. And that's kind of then where it shifted into being what it is now in the marketplace.
Yeah, so that brand we were going to try to stand up was Red Iron Republic. It was a state pride brand that I had designed state outlines with the American flag in every single state.
That's awesome.
And within 4 weeks, I saw that this is
going
insane to start a brand. And I'm one person that as soon as I see something for 100% that it's not going to work, or there's a 1% chance that it could work, I shut it down. Like it does not. I don't allow it to have any time in my life, because we move on.
And you noticed that with this business model.
Within 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yep. So we shut it down, and I kept Red Iron Republic.
What were the signs that you're like, I don't think this is going to work?
I instantly saw when I started working with the marketing girl that we had, that, all the posts she was doing and everything that she was having us film and all this stuff, I'm looking on Instagram, TikTok, and whatever, and I'm like, there's thousands of people doing this right now. Like there's not thousands of people buying. There's thousands of people selling in a market where I don't think many people are buying with what we're trying to do.
But I don't think it was designed for us. I think you can start a clothing brand and it can be successful if God's in your court.
Yes.
And I think it was a segue for us into this marketplace. So I think we honestly, I think we're very in tune with God's call for our life. And so I think that was some of that too, is he was like, no, I just want to use this.
He wanted you guys to be able to platform
Yeah.
other brands. I mean,
a
you look at
stepping
your
stone.
son's brand, it's done really well.
Yes.
Right? And so he found a niche. He found something really unique. It resonated with an audience. They buy it. And I would agree. And, our friend Bill Wanick, he's about to launch his new brand. I've watched him start that years ago. And the process God's took him on to such clarity with it now. Prayer you wear, right? That's the slogan of it. And so I think I do agree with you. We serve Christian entrepreneurs and we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And I've seen people come through that are like, I want to share the gospel. And so I'm going to start a Christian clothing brand. But God hasn't called them to make clothing that people would be drawn to. And it's always hard because it's like, maybe God called you to that. But it's like, is that really the business and the marketplace God's called you to serve with your unique gifting? Because it's highly competitive. Yes. But I think when you build, I know for us, like, we're not trying to build a merch brand. We're building a movement. People like to represent the movement. Yeah. So for us, it's like we have a community of 620 Christian entrepreneurs. Why wouldn't 70% of them buy a shirt? Because they're proud of the brand. They represent the movement, right? So you do the math on that.
And it represents their values. And that's really what people want to get behind is they want to be able to share a message that they believe in themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, so you're military. You guys start this incredible story. What have you learned about business? Now, were you curious question? Were you ever entrepreneurs before this?
I was a licensed real estate agent in Florida, and I did very well in Florida. And then we moved to California. So I got my license here and immediately was like, oh my gosh, it's such a different market out here. And so that for me has been always like my little entrepreneurship, I guess, in a sense of that, but not, we feel like we've always felt called to it. We just didn't know what it was. And so, the Red Iron Republic thing was in July, and we didn't know. We knew probably into September he was retiring.
Oh, wow.
And so
what year was this?
This was last year.
Oh, this was last year.
We had no clue, come August, what was going to sustain our family.
Right.
Wow.
In August is when, I think August, right, is when we really decided to launch the marketplace.
August 6th is when the collective had its first order of last year.
Yeah. So it's like, that's like a testament of like God's timing is not our timing, because I would have liked to have known way in advance what we're doing and how it's all played out. And, we're planners and so it's just really cool to see.
And I heard you say like there was something stirring in you guys. Like you knew there was some desire to build something, to build a business. Sounds like, did you feel that even while you were in the military? Like, man, I feel like when I'm done with the military, there's something I'm called to do.
I had no intentions ever to stand up an apparel marketplace online and be making all kinds of apparel at all. So I think that's where we're off on the right 2 feet. Both feet are going the right direction because
That's a good thing.
This is not our thing. And I never would have, if you had asked me 2 years ago, I was just finding out I was going to possibly get medically retired. And I had already planned on those contract jobs to go be a drone pilot still with the SEAL teams or an instructor with them, making great money, as they tell you all through your career. You retire, you become a contractor, you're making $120,000 to $140,000 a year, and you're taken care of for the rest of your life, right? That's what you're working towards, especially in NSW. And so 2 years ago, that was my pipeline. That's where I was headed. And knowing that, as a NSW UAS operator, I'm not clouding anything, but we are at the top, right? Just because of the training we receive and the reps that we get as drone operators under the water or in the sky, we're at the top. So to go get a great paying contract job, that's where we're coasting to. We're coasting, right?
Yeah.
And then this fell into our lap, and we had no idea come August, because I knew I got my date, September 25th, that I was going to be retired. And I actually...
It's our anniversary.
It is our anniversary.
Wow.
So crazy day.
I got that job I was going to be basically instructing underwater drones for Naval Special Warfare. And started it as soon as I retired, like the week after. But the funny thing was the in-dock process to go sit down and do all the paperwork and everything. I had to postpone that appointment 3 times because of stuff that was coming in for our business.
Oh, wow.
So I finally get there, do the in-dock, and then day number 6, I went in, we did some workout on the pier, and then on my way home, this is over in Point Loma, we're living in Coronado at this time on the Strand, I'm sitting on Grape coming from the airport, right, to get on the 5. I'm sitting there, and God speaks to me, and this is what he says. He says, "You're sitting in your car. You're not able to work on your business that I'm providing you with, and you are not getting paid to drive home from the job that you have." And I'm like, I started doing the math, and I'm like, 2 hours a day drive time, not getting paid. How much money am I wasting right now? So that was a Wednesday. We went to church that night, and the second song clearly spoke to me that not only was the collective going to support our family, but just the vision of what was going to come from it. We have a ministry we want to start called Raising Kingdom Builders that is all about family and parenting. Awesome. It was verbally like, hey, the collective's going to pay for this. Because we were going to charge like a monthly fee for it and everything so that we could get like a subscription. Yeah. And he was like, no, the collective that I handed you is going to pay for this down the road.
That's awesome.
So that's in our back pocket. That'll be coming a couple years. But
We have more
and
time.
then that was worship song number 2, right, that night. And then at the end of the service, we get prayed over. And I'm not going to mention any names because we go up.
She knows.
She does? Oh.
I told her.
We go up, and, East Lake, we're in not the venue, but the other rental. So we're on this side of the stage, and I can't say this. I just didn't want to go over here. And literally, one of the minister volunteers came, got us, and literally walked past everyone else and took us over here. And I'm like, this lady doesn't know us at all. And she didn't ask us a question. She just starts praying over us. And I about fell on the floor because the things she started prophesying about, she was like, you guys have a business and it's going to go places that you guys can't imagine, but you're about to walk into the loneliest time of your life. And I'm like, we just moved campuses back to East Lake. And then she's speaking over my wife, how she's called to speak in front of thousands of women. I'm like, my goodness gracious, this is the 3rd time someone's prophesied this over you. So that night, the amount of things that were said, it was just like, boom, we're full in.
That's amazing.
And during that second song, he was also like, you're going to quit tomorrow. So it took me all day. I typed up the email in the morning. I didn't send it till the afternoon.
Yeah. He was like, am I doing the right thing? Should I send it? I'm like, if God told you to, you have to send it. Like, we have to be obedient.
Because I was ending relationships, right? I'm 6 days into a job that someone hooked me up with that I had been working with.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I sent that. Didn't even do it 2 weeks. I was like, hey, if you want me to do 2 weeks, I will. But I already know that I can't waste any more time of God's time with your company. And from there, I think it was the next Sunday. Job's gone. We jumped, and the next Sunday we were carrying a ton of debt with us. We lived in Hawaii for 4 years on an E5 salary. Then we moved to Florida and San Diego. So we have credit card debt, we have a car payment, and verbally again during worship Sunday morning, and this idea hadn't even fallen into my head yet, but God was like, hey, the collective and Emerge is going to wipe away your debt.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? So I started thinking about it. I'm like, holy cow, there is a market here.
And for those that don't know, Emerge is our men's ministry at Awaken Church in San Diego, the largest team-based men's event in the world.
Like
where
3,000 or 2,000
close to
guys.
3,000 guys come out to the desert. We all have teams that we build, which have our own brand, just to give them some context on what Emerge is.
Yeah.
So, ideas started flowing into my head and of how we could assist them with their apparel needs. Because as you know, every team has their own logos, very proud of it. And a lot of teams have some bad looking apparel or designs. And I'm like, we can come in and help fix all that. And
Praise the Lord.
if you're listening to this, you have bad designs, I apologize.
I wouldn't wear that.
Yeah, so
Just look the other way.
we went through the right avenues, channels, and lo and behold, we ended up getting 30 teams, and we did 1,000 orders in like 2 months just for Emerge. But the cool thing is that didn't pay off our debt.
He retired, and literally that week, we got the call for the women's ministry at our church
Cherish.
to do the one-day event to do their apparel.
Oh,
And we're barely a company.
business.
Yeah, like how are we going to do 500
That's
shirts?
awesome.
No, we did 957 pieces of apparel in
Brand new.
Right.
The order for almost 1,000 pieces.
Amazing.
almost 1,000 pieces, and
In a
we got the
very short time
graphics
period.
on Monday.
Sounds like a church order to me. I mean,
Cherish
Churches
was on
Churches-
Saturday.
Yeah, right.
are known for that.
So
Monday
and they
due
came to us
Friday.
because the other companies couldn't even get it done.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah, within 4 days we did almost 1,000 pieces.
Holy cow.
So you get this like almost 1,000 piece order, which you really need the supernatural favor of God to deliver on. And then right after that, Emerge and 30 teams that end up doing their merch through you.
To that.
Yeah. So that did not pay our debt off, right?
Right.
That paid for a bunch of new machinery and stuff for the business. And I'm like, God, what's going on here? And then she is the one that's full of the wisdom.
It's usually how it goes with our wives.
Yes.
I'll take it.
She comes to me and she says, hey, Emerge is going to pay our debt off, not the conference. What is
What comes
coming
from
from
it.
Emerge? The stuff that is still waterfalling from the excellence that we put into the teams, the businesses that I have coming in, and the networking and the
how you got me.
relationships.
Yeah. So many connections, so many people. Like,
Is flowing in now.
And I want to take a moment on this to explain like how I got connected with you because so I've been a captain at Emerge for 3, maybe 4 years and raised up leaders and handed over the reins to a new captain, Javier. And I designed our logo. I went down to, I used to go to like, I think it was like Big Frog or whatever, something like that. I would get shirts made through them, get them printed every year. So I'd go into a physical location. They had my graphic. I'd pick out the fabric and I would order. And that's traditionally what we did. I have a closet full of Kings of Valor shirts because, I would always
many.
spend my own money to buy extra because every year it happens without fail. Guys don't buy their shirt, don't get their money in, sign up late, show up, and they want a shirt. And so Javier was in charge this year, and I don't know how he got connected with you, but I guess it was getting around with the Emerge team, or maybe someone shared it. And Javier's like, he reached out to me because I kind of mentor him as the captain. He's like, I heard about this guy, Adam. He goes to Eastlake. They'll create a website. And I'm like, you should totally do that. That sounds awesome. You don't got to buy the inventory. Then he sends it in the captain's chat, the site you created for Kings of Valor. And I'm like, whoa, this is like really good. And you had like coasters on there. And if you spend a certain budget, you're so smart. If you spend $100, you get free Kings of Valor coasters. I was like, I need that. You had a hat with the leather engraved, Kings of Valor logo. I was like, I need that. Still my favorite hat. Need one with our brand on it.
Come on.
Bought the shirt, bought the whole thing. You let us do our team fund in with it, which was super helpful. And I was just really impressed. And I've been going through a bottleneck with our merch and knowing we have much more potential. And God all of a sudden's like, reach out to the Adam guy. Like he did the Kings of Valor. Maybe he'll do it for Christian Entrepreneur Club. So that was the level of excellence you did through the store God opened with Emerge, who brought an entrepreneur in. So I just wanted to share that with the audience.
Yeah. And you're one of many that have been coming in. And I gotta thank Pastor Marco Contreras because he's the one that got us to the table at Awaken. I think I
Love
texted
Marco.
him. He's the best. I texted him one day and I was like, hey, if I hadn't even told him what God told me. Like I was just like, hey, I have this idea. I think it'll flow really well with the teams. And the next thing I know, he is literally blowing up my phone, putting me into group chats with every single pastor and leader at every single campus. I'm like, okay, I wasn't
So
expecting
good.
that. And then from there, it took off. So if it wasn't for him sticking his neck out for us, we would not have been where we're
I
at.
want
but
to
he saw
speak to. I
something
want to
in
speak
you.
to that because favor isn't for you; it's for others.
Yeah.
He had favor on his life because he had relationships, and what did he do? He used that favor for you guys,
Right.
and he opened a door for your business to thrive, and for God to bless you guys and bless others because of your excellence. Because he saw that.
Yeah.
So excellence is also your ministry. But what's amazing is so often people want to be the guardian of the door, and they think that the favor of God is on them because they're so incredibly, skilled or gifted or called and anointed. But really, should be the greatest servants and always the door holder, the door opener.
Right.
And so I just think that just transcends all of our personal success, and it just puts God at the center of it all and gives him glory when we can not only walk through the door with grace and, hit a home run with the business plan, but also then go open the door for somebody else.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to this episode really quick, but before we do, we want to share something that's really close to Cody and I's heart. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt torn between building something big, building your business, and staying faithful to God? I know we have, and it's so common. You want to grow your business, you want to make money, but you don't want to feel like you are driven by the wrong motives or wrong ambitions. And it's so common for people to feel that way. And that's exactly why we built the Christian Entrepreneur Club.
Yeah, so you don't have to teeter between ambition and obedience. You can actually build something that's successful and led by God in the process. If that's the tension you've been feeling, come meet our team. We'd love to learn more about you and get you connected to a thriving community of Christian business owners just like you. Go to christianentrepreneurclub.com or click the link in the show notes down below and join us on our next intro call this next week. We can't wait to meet you. Before Marco introduced you to the pastors, had you done any merch for anything that he had seen or the church or something before?
So we did Cherish.
Okay, so that happened before those doors opened.
That was back in October.
But I just want to take a moment to acknowledge something I think people miss. A lot of business owners get their door of opportunity open by the grace of God. And the ones that do it with such excellence are the ones I always see get like crazy doors opened afterwards. And I got to be honest, we serve Christians in business, but a lot of them are mediocre at best. And it really bothers me because I'm like, Christians should do things at a higher standard.
Agreed.
Yep.
We run ads all around the world. People comment on our ads. I'll never do business with a Christian again. Often it's a few reasons, but one is their product or service is mediocre, below average. Two is they represent like their kingdom and do business without integrity. Three is Christians never want to pay for anything and are always cheap. I want to
kinda
flip
true.
that table.
Yes.
Because it's like, what if we did what we did so well that even non-believers said, yeah, I don't even believe in God, but I'd rather do business with the Christian company because I know they hold themselves to a higher standard.
Yes. Come on.
I think you did that. I really do. And I think because you did that, and I know Marco well enough, we have a relationship, that he saw that and he was willing to stick his neck out and saying, hey, what this guy did and the level he did it at, we can trust him to be able to open up the door for this. And so that's a nugget for someone listening to this, guys. Like, are you operating in business with excellence? And if you're not, why? And if you're praying prayers to God, God bless my business, allow me to make more money, but you can't even show up to the small opportunity and be faithful, why would God open an even greater door?
Right.
Yeah. And I will say, let's go back to Cherish. How did we get Cherish? Because we were so brand new. And I think it is being obedient in the nudges that God gives you. So you had to like, not, I don't want to say ruffle some feathers, but you had to do the work. You had to go and seek the right person and say, hey, I would love to partner with the church for apparel. And at first it was a no, but we opened that door just a little bit. We cracked it open just a little bit, that when it was needed, super last minute, the guy knew to call us. And so like it does, God's going to bless your business, but you still have to put in the work. You still have
diligent.
to put in the effort. Yeah.
Make the ask and
Yes.
make, the offer. I'm so glad you said that. Like recently I had someone, like, it's interesting. I have to be careful how I say this, but someone in our network who was like, why didn't you give this business to us? Like almost like an expectancy of like, they should have gotten that business. But the reality is they didn't even try to open the door hard. There might have been one passing conversation, one comment, no pursuing of us, no diligence backing it. Like the people that are relentless pursuing you are often the ones you'll give your business to. You're like, man, if Adam, you could, show up in that way of wanting this, maybe we can trust him to actually fulfill what we need. And there's a lot of Christians, I feel like they're in the prayer closet. They'll, God, open the contract, but they're not like actively, diligently seeking the opportunity.
Right. And the reality is we started the conversation with you guys about doing our apparel, but we're so busy with the business that we're like, we're not even really pursuing it. But you texted us like
Your diligence,
20
bro.
times. Hey guys, hey, remember me? And we're like, oh yeah, I forgot. We're like, we need to get on this merch thing. And that is the truth, that even the people that you want to partner with, they're not out building an apparel brand because they don't have time for it, but you do.
Right.
And so you knocking on the door and you pursuing, you being consistent is what gets that door open, and you'll be successful with those companies because they're so diligent building the brand themselves that you guys, weren't called to do, but you're called to build the merchandise side of it.
Right.
I also will say on the side of that, one thing that we will hold to and stick with is, we through Emerge, we did 1,000 orders in a couple weeks. We messed some stuff up, and it was so cool because some of these people calling me, I could tell like, hey, you need to get to Emerge today. I don't know if you're gonna make it until, because they were like pretty upset and angry about a t-shirt that was messed up. I'm like, all right, you got more that you need to work on than this messed up shirt. But anything that we mess up, there's no questions asked. Like I don't care if we just send it out. If we mess something up, a shirt, whatever, we instantly, no questions asked, send it out, replace it, because I know that the business being owned by God and being handed to us, it'll be replenished tenfold. So I don't care about lost money in having to do that, or lost money in having to give something away or anything like that. And I think it's really opened up the doors that we're seeing being opened up for us. Because of that. What do you got something?
No, on.
Oh.
I want to say on that note, when you scale a business fast, things are bound to break.
Yeah.
And in some of the greatest lessons, pressure reveals the cracks, right? I love that saying in business. Like you scale a business in your scenario, you bring in more orders, there's more fulfillment, there's pressure to deliver. Things can be done wrong. Things can break, systems, processes. I actually think that's the greatest fortifying for a business. It's reflecting on what broke, what crack got a leak in it, and how do we button that up? What are some of the other mistakes maybe that you've made or you've had to learn from growing so fast, in this time period, guys?
Losing track of some onboarding clients.
Yeah, we got to figure out a better way
I've
of
had a couple like
doing that.
Systems.
Onboarding
Better
SOP.
systems,
Yeah.
a couple just orders that have maybe been missed, and they got shipped out a week or two after they were ordered. And normally we just instantly refund those. We don't even tell them. Normally I'll get a call, hey, why did this get refunded? Because we didn't meet the timeline that I'd like to be at. Because we want to be a very fast turnaround with high quality. The caliber we're shooting for is very high, but I know it will attract all kinds of business owners and clients and wealth, because excellence attracts wealth. So we're gunning for that caliber, and it's going to come with a lot of learning curves.
Yeah. Client onboarding, fulfillment, and then customer service. are often the three buckets as businesses scale and get a lot of customers.
Yeah.
And we feel all three of those pains and have. And so I think they're really good areas. So now you're like, oh, how do we have a world-class client onboarding experience? Maybe you record some videos too. Hey, welcome to, the Red Iron Collective family. Here's videos breaking down exactly how our process works. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Hey, we're going to have a client onboarding call and like have a calendar they book with, right? And building that front end system and having a team to manage it eventually might just be you guys right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for you guys as you build that.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's coming. We're going to build our own platform first.
Come on.
So
Yeah.
With AI, it's almost like anything's possible now.
It's so true.
the moves we're going to make with AI in the next 4 weeks are going to be absolutely insane and life-changing for our business.
Come on.
Yeah, cannot wait for those to get implemented.
One question I have for you guys is navigating this as a married entrepreneur couple with 2
Yes.
children. And I
go
know
there.
you homeschool as well, Cassie.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So what are some of the things that you guys have had to put in place to guard your marriage, guard your intimacy, but build sustainably? You've had a lot of exponential growth in a short period of time.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's challenging. I was joking with a friend the other day. I was like, start a business with your husband. It's amazing. You should do it. As of like having a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
If you would have talked to me 6 months ago, I would say my capacity is full. I can't take on anything else. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna cry, but I'm probably gonna cry. The way he has stretched me and my capacity is, I never thought like I could do it all. And it comes with putting systems in place. Like I have to first of all, I have to have my time with God in the morning.
Yeah.
So it was like putting that, okay, I have to wake up earlier. Like I used to think, I remember being pregnant with my son, like waking up at before 9 o'clock was stupid early. And then even like 7 o'clock, but now like it has to, I think one of the best things we did was a year ago at marriage conference, we went to the breakout session of entrepreneurship, not knowing what was coming. And I remember the lady saying, you just don't sleep. And I was like, I don't sleep, not knowing that we were going into this business, but I think we've held on to that nugget as like, if you're starting your business at first, there might be some sleepless nights. And there was a lot of sleepless nights for the women's conference and even through Emerge. And so I've had to wake up early because I have to have my time with God and I have to take care of myself. So go to the gym and whatnot, and then come back and have still some peace before the kids get up in the chaos. I told him the other day, I was like, do not talk to me about anything about the business before 7 a.m. Like I need to go to the gym first, I have my Bible time, and come back. But he like, it was just a couple weeks ago, like broke down and was like, I need you. Like, I need your full support. Like, I've always supportive, but I also like my coffee dates and doing the stuff. And so we've had to adjust as a family and said, like he said, no to a lot of things and really focus on building it. And so I want to be selfish and say, no, I want to go to coffee with my friend multiple times a week. But I've had to shift. And I've had to learn things that I also never knew how to do. And I'm still trying to figure out, we're on summer break now, how to incorporating homeschooling into that. But I have some systems in place for the fall. It's shifting things a little bit. And it may not look like it did last year, and that's okay. And also asking for help or hiring help and like a cleaner. I don't clean the house anymore, and that's wonderful.
It's a blessing.
But he has been very, I need you. And we are growing this together. This is how God designed it. And so I was helping a friend with a business. It didn't take very much time or effort. But he asked me to release that. And I was like, but that's my money, like my little play money. And, but I had to submit to him, and I have to honor him in that way and come under him. And so, I released it, and, there's some things I have to just be more intentional with our yes and our no. 'Cause I had to cancel on a friend the other day for something. And so, it's just learning how to work together and not kill each other on those hard days. And
and we've,
So raw, so real. I love it.
as of what, February? We have hard dates. Tuesday night is date night. Kids stay at home. We go to dinner. Nothing comes in between that. Wednesday morning, we have our Paris baguette coffee
Yeah, coffee date.
every single week. We don't miss those unless we're out of town or there is an emergency. But I have to say, this whole wild ride so far has stretched her grace for me so much that it has just been my comfort through the storm of growing and scaling, because just seeing the way that she has stepped up taking care of our household, but then when I'm at my limit, and the grace she has for me now that a year ago she would not have, right?
Wow.
That has just grown out of somewhere. The Holy Spirit is just doing things that, because I would have been slapping myself if I was her, has just been incredible to see through this journey. And I've really, it's so cool because we have the vision of where we're going to be in a couple of years.
Yeah.
That we've kind of latched onto, knowing that, yes, we've said no to all this stuff right now. We have canceled all this stuff. We are literally head down running 16 hours a day, knowing that in 2 to 3 years, the only reason that we won't be doing whatever we want whenever we want to is because we quit. If we continue with the vision we've been given on God's path, we will have built a business that is being ran by someone else within 2 to 3 years, and we'll be back to, if we want to go serve in 17 ministries, we can do that. Probably not the healthiest thing to do, but yeah, if I want to go play guitar every Sunday and Wednesday and make Adrian super happy, well, you could do that. So it's kind of cool. Having that vision is really what's pushing us towards that, and not allowing anything to come into our marriage or into our household that would disrupt that. Without that vision, if we didn't have a plan, and not a business plan, a God plan, because business plans don't work normally because they shift every single 6 months. If we didn't have that, this would not even be feasible to continue to do and actually be successful at.
So good. You know, the Bible says without vision, the people will perish.
Yeah.
I know it's so cool. You talk about like this vision that you have as husband and wife, and you're holding on to that. And in the season you're in, and knowing the season, it's hard. You're stretched. You're having to say no to coffee with friends. You're having, hey, I can't serve as much in ministry. I can't have as much time doing the things I love and I enjoy, because the season I'm in is like hard work. It's diligence, but it's also, you've done a good job as a leader of your family, having a light at the end of the tunnel. I've learned with Esther, we're going into conference season now. Conference is in October for us. I sit down with her and say, hey, we're going to be in a sprint for about 4 months.
Yeah.
And we're going to work a lot more. We're not going to have as much fun as we've kind of been doing a little lately. We're going to be grinding, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Last year, it was a week in Hawaii, no social media, no work, present with my wife.
We didn't go to Hawaii last week.
I said last year.
Oh, I was like last week. I don't remember being in Hawaii.
She's here and she's already. So last year,
I went to Hawaii.
and this year it'll be something similar, right? We'll go take a week trip. We won't work. We won't do anything, and we'll also move into a season where the tempo slows down a little. And so I love that you guys do that, but I also believe there's no greater business partnership than husband and wife. And when you're on mission together, it's pretty incredible. Like there's, you talk about like the grace your wife gave you. I don't think you could reach that same level of grace with a business partner as you can with your spouse. And it's a testing, finite tension thing, because you can't over push it, because it can cause dysfunction in the home, and it actually will at times. We've had that. But when done well, there's like an extra great, like Esther's done this for me. She had to, 5-time author, big in the relationship space, building a business in that, and ultimately had to submit under what I feel we're called to do and set that down, which was really hard for her to do. Gave me so much grace, asked so much of her, pushed her to her limits. But now I would say, and we have a long ways to go, we're living a life that 2 years ago we dreamed of.
And I will say, okay, speaking to that, because I think I can relate to your journey so much, and so many women out there who maybe have played a support role in the entrepreneur couple relationship struggle with identity, struggle with finding your passion in the mission.
Right.
And I heard something you were saying, he keeps asking me, I need your support. I need your support. He's not just asking you to support.
Yeah.
He's saying, will you dream with me? Will you join this mission with me together?
Come on.
And together, let's run using both of our gifts, both of our individual callings. Because Cassie, God has a calling on your life that's so unique, that's not like his. And while maybe your passion is not building business, or your passion might not be apparel, your passion is other things, but God is allowing you to, he's giving you a playing field for you to unravel that passion and even figure it out, and maybe play on the playground a little bit and have some fun in the process, and your voice will emerge out of that. And your influence will emerge out of that. For me, it wasn't like, I knew my calling, and I knew writing books and influencing the lives of women in their relationships. I knew that was my calling, but the expression of it in that season did not mean that I needed to build a brand with my name on it. The Lord invited me. He said, will you, for a season, put that on the side, put that on the shelf. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But trust me with your identity and let me produce something in you didn't even know was there. And kind of, you were talking about, this is my fun money. This is my thing. And I reached that point too, because I was making money. I was like, oh, I'm paying off credit cards. I'm like, I love that I can see the money I made and I get to spend it my way, because God knows what happens to both of our monies. It just disappears.
Right. So true.
But when that happened, we were about to go on a world trip. We put everything in storage, and we're about to go on this amazing adventure, our first year of marriage. And the Lord spoke to me, and he said, will you do this and come fully into this mission with Cody? Because we had just started Christian Entrepreneur Club, and you don't know what it's going to be like, but like, have fun with it and just set this aside for a season and build legacy. Build something that's not just for a couple months and then you set it down and it's just fun play Monopoly money. Like, this is more than just a seasonal thing. Build something that's going to be eternal, where you are having a perspective that is not just for yourself, but for your kids and for the influence of other people's transformation. And when I did that, it was so uncomfortable, but it brought out areas in my life, like you said, stretching of capacity. I didn't even know I could be good at marketing in these areas. I didn't know I could be good at sales in these areas, or all these different ways in which I've had to fill in the gaps. And then now what has come of it has been such a multiplication in our lives. And so even thinking of your transformation, such an identity shift, God just said, hey, I'm pulling you instantly into his identity over you and allowing you that space.
I'll touch on that real quick, because that's something that is heavy in the military, but in naval special warfare, in the SEAL teams, in Delta Force, in Green Berets, in all those, they're all their own, almost, I don't want to say at a cult level, but they're their own fraternities, right? Like you are either them and in, or you are not. So when I screened to go in there to Special Recon Team 1, there's a whole screening process, and they're checking your aptitude, but they're checking to see who you are, if you're going to fit with them, and if you're going to basically become them. And somehow I got selected in there, and then I kid you not, the whole time that I'm in there, I work well with everyone, very well, but I'm a different person when it comes to the military. Just because of my upbringing and just biblically and having more vision outside of just the military, right? So there was multiple times that I had guys come up to me and be like, hey, you don't really fit in here. You're a great operator, but you don't really fit in here. And I'm like, well, yeah, you guys' lifestyle doesn't really line up to where I know God's taking me.
That's a good thing.
So good.
But the thing is, stepping back and looking at that, we see the vision that God has for us. We see the capability that we have in being able to build a business and not work a job and everything. There's so many people out there that have that same capability and calling on their life, but they are literally blinded from it because of whatever fraternity or community or job that they're in, that they're gunning for the next position, the next rank, the next chief executive officer, whatever they're going after is literally stopping them from seeing that, oh, wait a minute, I can actually go do this and build a legacy for my family. I think even the people in church hearing this every weekend, don't have that belief for themselves because it's literally being blinded from them.
They've
So,
conformed
Yes.
to a system that was created by the world, a box, a ladder in corporate, ladder in military, the next rung, the next rung. And it's interesting because I think one of the greatest adversaries of entrepreneurship is conformity. Because the world conforms us to how it wants us to be, and we fit into boxes because we want to belong. Really, at the end of the day, human beings just want to belong to something. The reason the fraternity of the Navy SEALs is so powerful is a brotherhood, and you feel like you belong, and you feel like these are my people. But it's also like I have a great mentor in my life, former SEAL. I lived with, I don't know if you know that, I lived with a former Navy SEAL when I moved out here for the first 2 years, Yost. I don't know if you know Yost Jansen. And really, it was cool though because he was a big part of that, but then he broke out of that and realized like his creativity, just like you, like there's so much more he could do. And he went on to build a lot of wealth outside of that and different things. Yeah. And so I just want to encourage everyone listening to this. You don't have to succumb to the conformity that the world has put on you. You know, for you, Adam, the roadmap for your life was you're this military guy, you did this job, and you worked towards, you said you were coasting to go get a contract job after, you know, make $140,000 a year, probably invest into some things and then retire. And you're like career military and contract guy. Most of the guys that go on that highway probably try to follow that path.
Yep.
It's interesting though, you broke out of that conformity and you said you kind of always felt that in you.
The people you have surrounding you are super important. So we always were doing 20 years. Like that's it. That's what we're doing. It's comfortable. It's a steady paycheck, 20 years. Then we moved to California and we start going to Awaken and we learn that, oh, we have this like financial ceiling over us that we can't break through. There's no bonuses. There's no this. And all our friends at church are entrepreneurs. And we're like, what is this life? And so, you know, they really spoke into us that like God has more in store for you. And, you know, for some people it is the corporate world, but for us, like he was showing us like it is not. And so then this old injury resurface and we're like praying into this, like, okay, God, is this our way out? Like the military is great. We lived in awesome places. Like in that steady paycheck is nice, but like we knew there was something more. And so we knew like, okay, God, we're going to trust you in this. We're going to go for the medical, either retirement or separation, whatever it is, but we're going to trust that you have us. And so the people around us, you know, our church is very entrepreneur mindset and it helped guide us a lot. They did and helped pray for us. And so it was super amazing.
No, real quick though, what she just said is so good because your environment changed and the power of proximity of being in an environment of people that probably had even greater vision, you know, for their lives, and you guys being around people that had greater vision you get exposed, right? Some of the best things in life are caught, not taught. And so you're starting to catch, wow, they believe really big for their life. They started a business, this and that, and then they start praying over you. They start believing, speaking words of knowledge into you, words of encouragement, like, hey, you guys can do more. God's got more for you. I'm so glad you hit on that because I look back at my childhood. I was raised with a dad in prison. I don't know if you guys know that. My dad was incarcerated for 29 years, raised by a single mom, grew up in poverty. When I was 17 years old, there was a guy who was entrepreneurial and Christian who I got exposed to, who saw life different than any other human being I've ever met saw life. And my mind was expanded by being around him. Yeah. And once the mind's expanded, it can't go back. So I was raised and conformed and only thought this way. I had a poverty mindset, at all of that. And here's this guy who broke free of that, who's living a life with fruit that I'm like, I want a life like you. And he's like, you can have it. And I'm like, really? You know, and you actually start to believe, right? You start to have hope and you're like, wow, maybe I could start a business. You know, maybe God gave me gifts. Like I could do some things with my life too. My mom was a waitress. My dad's in prison. So I didn't have like role models of that, but I just want to hit on that so powerful. And to the listeners, hopefully this podcast can be that for you, if you're still conforming, but go find people that have greater vision than you have and get around them. Yeah. It'll shift your life.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into the state of where I still want to be the smallest person in the room. Anyone I'm hanging out with. And if I've grown to be more than that, it's time to find new people to be around.
Yeah.
That are at the next level that I want to be at. Not the level under me, not the level where I'm at. I've quickly learned that to continue this journey and this process, to always be in community with people who are 1, 2, 3 upping where you're at, and have walked through what you're walking through. I wanted to talk about the injury. 2017, I got hit by a truck in Kuwait.
Dang.
And once they got the truck off of me and the other guy that was on the other side, I'm walking around. And at this point, I'd been in the Navy for 4.5 years. And actually, let's back way up. I just want to point out that I know God's voice. So some things, when we've been told to shift lately, instantly, I'm moving. For 2 years, starting in 2011, God's like, you need to join the Navy. And I'm like, I just got married. My family is like anti-military because they think you're going to die instantly as soon as you go in. And we're going to have kids. I'm like, this is not life for me. So ignored it for 2 years. 2013, got in a motorcycle accident, lost my job. God is like yelling at me at that point, like, hey, do this thing I'm asking you to do. And I'm like, we prayed about it finally. Because I didn't even bring it up to her. I'm like, nope, I'm going to make that decision. This is not what's best for our family. So she was like, yeah, we need to do it. So we jumped. And as she said, the 12 years in the Navy were incredible. We lived in Hawaii for 4 years on the beach.
Love Hawaii.
Okay.
On Oahu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were over in Kailua. So, and the church that
We got married on Oahu.
come on.
Nice.
Love it.
That's pretty.
Anchor Church over there in Kaneohe. I played guitar every Friday and Sunday for almost the entire 4 years if I wasn't deployed or gone on a trip. So we pretty much have family over there. The people we've got to meet and everything. But that voice that spoke to me then to come in the Navy, when I got out from under the truck, it was instant. It was, you're going to get medically retired from this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I've been in the Navy for 4.5 years. I have no idea what we would do financially. No, we're not. And I'm at that point where I'm still taking care of my family. I'm still providing for my family, right? So we get back home, and chiropractor got everything set back in. We did some other stuff. I found out half my heart's backwards from an ultrasound that I had. Not from the wreck, just from being born that way. So we go on, this is 2017, and I screen for special recon team. I go through all this UAS stuff, all this training, all these schools and everything. And 2022, 23, 20, 24, my back starts popping while I'm like picking up drones and working out and stuff. And I'm like, that's probably not good. So it got to the point where I was like, this is starting to hurt. So I went into our doc, and he ordered a x-ray, and we got it back, and he's like, all right, you have spondylosis with degenerative something with a ruptured disc and a pinched S1 nerve all in this area. And I'm like, okay, how do we fix it? And he's like, you don't want to go that route because then you may not be walking because the surgeries, you never know where they could go. So I'm like, okay, what are you suggesting? He's like, well, this is your ticket out if you are interested in medical retirement. And when those words came out of his mouth, because now we're in Coronado, we're at Awaken, our minds have been opened up. We have vision for things that I'm like, the military's literally handcuffing me right now financially. And then he comes in and says those words, and it flashes back to when I got out from under the truck, and God's like, you're going to be medically retired from this. This is 2007. This is 7 years later.
Wow.
7 years for that to come to fruition.
Number of completion, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And I almost drop on the floor, and I'm like, that's what we're going to do. Because he's like, are you sure you want to do this? Because you could just ride it out, to 20. And I'm like, no, I don't want to ride out another 8 years being half broken and probably end up 100% broken. So we went through the whole process, and it was almost 2 years. And just, it was God after God after God, the way that the process went, the things that got put in place for us financially. I'm 100% disabled, which is a $4,500 a month tax-free check. We have, because I got retired, we have full TRICARE for life for our entire family.
Wow. Praise God.
out of the service 8 years early, which, we were gunning for retirement, so I'll take it 8 years early.
Yeah.
But at the exact time that I'm realizing, like, dang it, there's more for us. And then through the whole process, this business starts to fall into place that I had no intentions of running. And it was the same voice during those 2 worship songs on those 2 separate days that told us everything else. So we've learned to pivot and move.
And you've learned to hear the voice of God. There's like a theme through this. The voice, God spoke to me in worship. God spoke to me in that truck. God spoke to me to go in the Navy. God spoke to me. And I love that there's like a theme we didn't plan of hearing the voice of God and just making a decisive decision and being obedient. So good, Adam.
So good.
Yeah.
And Casey.
So I will say, like, our role as a wife is so important, but he's wanted to quit 1,000 times. He told me after Emerge, I'm done. I'm shutting it all down. And, in my frustration, I said, fine, why shut something down that God's clearly given us? And so
I've had those moments, by the way, too, Adam. It doesn't make me feel better.
Those moments, you're not
In the
doing
last
it
couple
right.
months, I've I quit. You do.
Actually, this podcast shouldn't be happening because last week he told me he didn't want to do it anymore. So.
I had a little breakdown.
So it's funny because I'm so emotional, but I'm learning that, I maybe seen him tear up once, is that actually he's emotional in a different way and can throw fits just as well as us women. But he's carrying a lot. And that's the thing. I've had to have the grace because as wives, we don't carry everything that our husbands carry. And, having to provide for a family and having to take on all of that responsibility. And that's why I think fuels me to help him when he's like, hey, I need you. I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Like, I have the vision too. And so, just being that rock for him to lean on, like, no, God's clearly told us, hello. I'm like, going to slap him. Like, God's given this to us. Why wouldn't we continue to see it through? And then the second thing is it's difficult with a family. But I know that, God is in this. And so how do we build this business and spend 16 hours on it, but not neglect our family? So we've had to learn that balance of like, okay, when we're off, we're off. And we still try to take, some trips here and there for now, but we've brought them into it. And so, they're, sometimes pressing shirts and making money. And so it's like, it's really fun. They're always like, okay, what do you have for me? Or just opening boxes.
And you invited your kids to be a part of the vision.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so, they enjoy it and they love having dad home. Like, he might not be able to be 100% present in the moment, but he's home. And so if we want to, like, go to the fair next week, which he doesn't want to do, he could go with us, but we might go without him.
You might still have time to convince him.
You can do that while I'm in Florida.
Yeah, see, so it's kind of cool to build something as husband and wife, but also build something as a family.
Wow.
And so.
This has been so good, guys. We got to wrap up here because we've gone over. But I just first of all want to say thank you to both of you for coming on the show. I felt the presence of God moving. And I think we got to talk about some really cool stuff that I know will impact marriages. It'll impact families. It'll impact entrepreneurs. So thank you for that. I think a lot about, and Charlie Kirk, I reminisce on him a lot, right? But his favorite verse, like, Lord, send me, and how many times when, you guys have a lot going on this season in your life, you didn't have to say yes to a podcast.
Yeah.
Sacrifice to be here, but you said yes. And of course, we got to discern the right yeses. But because you did, I just noticed there's someone on the other side of this, maybe driving in their car right now, sitting in their office, whose life was transformed because you said yes. So I just want to say thank you. And I'll allow each of you to share one last thing with the audience. Just speaking to a Christian entrepreneur from your heart, whatever God's put on it. I'd love to hear from each of you.
I'll speak into marriage. If you are a husband and your wife is building a business, or if you are a wife and your husband is building a business, and that business has been blessed by God and given to him or her, and he or she has a vision, please, I beg of you, get behind them, support them, do not be against them. I have a guy right now that was on our Emerge team whose wife has been telling him to shut his business down because It's taking too much of his time away from them. However, they're not in the business at all. So it's just a hindrance to her, what God's trying to do for their family through him. So I beg of you, wife or husband, if the other one is building a business that God has given them, please support them. Please get in it with them. God has gifted you. You can use that for your business. I don't care what it is or how you feel about it. God will work through you and move in you to take away the hindrance and make that successful.
So good.
It's good. I don't know, I've said a lot, but I will say that there is blessing tied to obedience. So being obedient to the voice of God. At the same time we were starting this, it was a very chaotic time in our lives and a lot of transition, but we knew on everything that we were doing and making transition, we were being obedient. And it's really cool on the other side to see the blessing God's attached to it. We don't have to wonder what's next and where the next job is coming from, because God continues to just bless and just fall into our laps. And so I know that we are obedient, and I know that we will continue and just stay in the course on that.
So good. Anything you want to say to wrap it up?
Yeah. Something that just popped in my head is the blueprint for blessing is obedience. Everyone's looking for the business plan.
Right.
They all want the step 1, 2, and 3. And what did you do? So I can do the same thing.
Yeah.
And there's strategy that we can borrow from each other.
Absolutely.
But the blueprint for blessing is just obedience. So just obey what God told you to do, and you'll see the blessing on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. And you don't get that obedience without spending time with the Lord. It all starts in the secret place. That's your call to action, guys. I want to thank everybody for listening to the episode. I want to thank you guys for coming on. And as always, guys, go make it a great day.